Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more. They're not just smart, they heal more.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends. We are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I am the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm and the sorceress of sass. I am the ghost. She is the coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. We are the best friends in all the land. We are the Hillmarks. And this is everybody's favorite Ring of Honor post show. This is Mark of Honor. And we have nothing else to talk about but the Ring of Honor episode we just watched. It just hit the airwaves. Not gonna lie, Danielle and I took a few minutes delay because we wanted to watch who the Giants drafted in the NFL draft. We're like, we don't want to do the show with you guys while we've got our eyes on the TV waiting to see who we pick. We're like, the Giants are getting the pick. Let's just wait to see who they pick. Welcome, Malik Neighbors, to the New York Giants, and welcome everybody to Mark of Honor. However you're watching on the BodySlamNet network, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, anything else that we're streaming on, thank you. You see that like button? Go ahead and smash that. If there's a subscribe button that's available to you, go ahead and smash that. You see that comment place button? Go ahead. Put it in there. Type some stuff. Join the conversation. We want to know what you thought about Ring of Honor just as much as anyone else.
Brady, we have matching.
Danielle, my bugging or is Mark of Honor supposed to have be on top?
It probably is.
I don't see it.
I don't know where it went. Nope, that's not us. Where'd you go? What'd you do?
I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't
I'm
see
looking.
it. It's not there.
All right. Hold on, I'm looking. Oh no, that's not it. Yeah, it's
there we
supposed
go.
to be there.
I found it. I did.
Good. Yay. Brady did a good job.
All right. Brady did do good job. Did Ring of Honor do a good job? That is the question. We'll get into it and see. I hear the groans.
What?
I hear the groans.
There's no groans. There's no groans.
I mean, listen, we had some good.
There was definitely some good.
We had some progression. We had some movements. Let's see all the things we can talk about. Let's just start how they started.
Okay.
Isaiah Cassidy against Commander. This one surprised me only because, when I think of singles guys in Ring of Honor that have been presented extremely strong in Ring of Honor, Commander's top of the list. Where I feel like for a month straight, maybe a month and a half, almost every night he was main eventing in a four-way, and he was coming out on top. So Commander always seemed to me ever since he lost to Fletcher for the TV title, it seemed like they'd always kept him extremely strong, almost as if he was possibly going to eventually emerge again as a contender for that championship. But here we've got Isaiah Cassidy, who on his own, no tag team partner in sight, but of course we do know him predominantly from Private Party. Right. They're still very active in AEW, so on AEW television. So surprising to see Isaiah Cassidy as a solo guy get what I'm perceiving as a big win against someone who has been pushed very strong on this program.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that.
Not taking anything away from Isaiah Cassidy, but I did find it a little interesting that they didn't have Commander go over in this because, like you said, it's been a big thing where usually when he comes out, you're like, oh yeah, Commander's definitely winning because he's been such a strong force this entire time ever since the TV championship.
This goes to show, and it's just another notch in the pro column in terms of should we listen to the heel mark as entrances are concerned, because this match did we did get 2 entrances.
Yep.
Both wrestlers got presented to us as equal competitors.
Yep.
And just as, we just said, we thought we knew who was going to win. When I'm writing it down, when I see them coming out, I'm writing it down. Commander defeats Isaiah Cassidy. And then no, egg on my face. Got to go ahead and switch that up because Isaiah Cassidy with a surprising win. And I like wins I don't see coming. I like matches that I don't know exactly how it's going. Where I like being able to see a tag team wrestler come out against a singles wrestler who's consistently pushed, and I'm surprised at the finish. So I enjoyed this opener. Isaiah Cassidy's always been someone that I thought has been underutilized, only because he's one of those guys that does utilize every platform he has. So
Right.
on YouTube, he's big on social media, and his videos are very entertaining and they show different aspects of his personality. And there have been times where AEW or ROH give him time to shine, whether it's a mic in hand, whether it's an entrance, a match, and he always does different things to show up and show out. And other than Private Party, most of his career in AEW has been associated with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's now gone from the company, so it's good to see that Isaiah Cassidy does
Can still flourish.
Exactly. It does have still time and room to fly, and I love watching him get presented. Not even as a singles wrestler, but wanting to get him shine. On his own
100%.
in Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is a perfect platform for that.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was really excited to see this. I like that they're doing all this too. I like that.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And we saw also throughout the night a lot of backstage interviews and stuff. I don't know if it's more than we usually get, or maybe I was just
It felt more than we usually get.
It felt like it was more, right? It felt like, and listen, I think that's supposed to be what you do. Plenty of matches that we're going to cover tonight didn't have 2 entrances. So once again, that's time you're leaving. And listen, some of them I didn't like. For example, we talked about it last week. We love ourselves some AK. We love some Allison K. So listen, on the negative tip, yes, another week, Pinky's out. Another week, she did not get an entrance. She was in there waiting for her opponent, Anna Jay, who did, of course, get the victory. However, last week, we saw Allison K fall to, I believe, Abaddon, if my memory serves me correctly.
I believe so,
and it was essentially a squash match.
This was not.
This was not. So
this match was actually very good. I like this match a lot.
Right. So this is where, last week, me and you, as Allison K fans, went from just high to low real quick. Because we're like, oh, Allison K is there, but no entrance. And oh my God, the match is over. Yes. Here, we're kind of like, okay, wait, Allison K, no entrance again. But oh my God, this match is fire.
Yeah.
So,
it was a really good match.
So this was a bit different from last week, is where it started down, took us up, and now I'm going into next week's episode of Ring of Honor programming, or even the next one, however long we have to wait to see Allison K again. But the next time we see her, I'm hopeful for what the future could bring. I'm hoping this isn't just she was local, so let's use her 2-3 times. I'm hoping now they're bringing her with her, and they're like, okay, Allison K can go. We wanted to get her introduced to ROH talent or fans, but now let's see what she can do.
I wonder if sometimes they don't get entrances because maybe their entrance music, because I noticed with a lot of indies wrestlers, their entrance music are actual songs. And I wonder if there has to be a copyright thing for that. Because, a lot of them do have it. Like Effie's is
no, you're right. That's
the
something
Elton
I never
John
really...
song that I can't think. Yeah.
Right.
Everyone, they have like Elton John, I don't know if they're allowed to publish.
That is something I never really thought of. I feel like with wrestling companies, and this is, typically, so I don't know if AEW, ROH does this, but I know that, there's always been a thing where, if you ever used to watch back in the day, the shows WWE have, Live Wire, or, all those, Saturday morning shows. A lot of those shows did actually, almost everyone did get an entrance, even if it was an old John Moxley or AJ Styles, and it would just be the most generic, rock music.
That's the other thing. I'm like, you can't just throw a generic song, anything.
Right. Because the truth is, especially with that crowd, the crowds that are watching these ROH matches, I feel like they're going to react first to what they see on that Titantron.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you throw AK-47, then have that transition to Allison K real quick, and then the music could be like it could be generic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The fans see her, they know Allison K. She gets to come
Correct.
out, do her thing, and once again, for the live fans and for us, it just presents them differently.
They were doing a little chant again. They were like, "Let's go, Anna Allison." I was very happy about that.
Right.
I
hope that the people backstage take notice of those things.
Oh, I hope so too.
If you're getting dueling chants on a Ring of Honor match without both entrances, and it is something like this where Allison K, I think last week was honestly like the first time we'd seen her on Ring of Honor, if not like I think the first time in 2024, if anything. Like I don't think
I think first time in 2024 because I don't remember the last
definitely
time I saw
first time this year.
Right.
Yeah. So we're just kind of getting started with that. Anna Jay, she's on Ring of Honor, she's on AEW, but they've never really they haven't done something with her since she was in like the Jericho Appreciation Society, you know?
Right.
Like she's a great worker and we watch her improve, but she's not really like lock solid in something. In fact, sometimes she's another one where I don't really know if they're presenting her to us as a face or a heel. Like I kind of have to feel it out every week. Like which way she's going. On AEW television this week, it kind of seemed like Anna Jay was going heelish, or not even going heelish, but being used to help Toni Storm and Brian May be transitioning into kind of more of the babyface trio. As she attacks, and does that kind of stuff. So I'm watching that where I just watched AEW yesterday. I'm carrying this over as Anna Jay's a heel. So as the fans are getting behind Allison K, I'm kind of like, listen, this is exactly what you want. Please, let's take notice. You've got a winner here. You've
100%.
got a winner. Even if she's not getting the wins, they've got a winner.
Exactly.
Love some Allison K. I also love some Dark Order.
Ooh, and this was me and John Silver.
That's right.
Love John Silver.
And this was another one where Dark Order didn't come out on top. They lost to the ever-flourishing trio of Action Andrade and Top Flight, always presented as a top-tier team, whether it's AEW or Ring of Honor. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise, but I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the fact that commentary goes the extra mile when it comes to putting over Dark Order and what they represent in this division.
And how meaningful they were, And how meaningful they are, I should say. I shouldn't say were, but
right. And so we got both entrances for both teams. We got a back and forth match that got plenty of time. So really no complaints on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if next week or the next week we'll see Dark Order probably get a squash match. This seems to be fairly formulaic with ROH, where they'll put two competitive teams together or two competitive wrestlers, what have you. And then the losing team, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give them a squash win like the next week, remind everyone, hey, these guys are still good. They're still a force to be reckoned with. But I like when they do things like this. And I almost kind of, it just goes back to us wanting stories when you choose to take two stables that are pretty babyface. I always I'm kind of hoping what? It's like, this is Ring of Honor. Just turn Dark Order heel. Just have them attack them, and then we got a story.
Have dark in there. They're Dark Order. They're not Order.
Dark Order haven't been dark in a very long time.
Yeah.
You know what they are? They're Sour Patch Kids. Sometimes they're sour, but they always go back to sweet.
Do you know a person at work calls me that?
A Sour Patch Kid?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you're so sweet and nice, but then you're such a bitch."
For the record, Sour Patch Kids is supposed to be the other way around. Like you're a bitch, but then you're sweet and apologize. So they're like, "Oh, can't stay mad at you."
Do you know what my mom calls me?
Out of nowhere, if you're sweet out of nowhere, you're a bitch. Like that's the wrong Sour Patch. You don't want that.
Do you know what my mom calls me? My mom calls me a thoughtful bitch. She's like, "You're so loyal to your friends, and you're so thoughtful. Like you'll find something they love and want to give them a gift and stuff." And she's like, "But you'll be such a bitch about it."
Yeah. Do you want to know what other people refer to that as, Danielle?
What?
Being a New Yorker.
This is fair.
We all have that top 5 in our phone book. Our friends, we'll ride or die for them. I'll fucking kill for mines. But if I don't fucking know you, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, my mom said that. Like, I'll come over to your house and be mad at you that you're late or something. I'll be like, "Fucking Brady," and I'll be like,
Here, I got you a Slim Jim and a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Right, exactly, 100%.
Here, I didn't want you to be hungry.
This is the New York lifestyle,
Yeah.
people.
It's
This
like
is what's up.
do better. Don't be late. But here's some food in case you're hungry.
Exactly. You know what? Somehow that reminds me of. Okay, so Yuka Sakazaki defeating Layla Gray, and I don't know why. Like, I was just really happy Layla Gray got an entrance here.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. She got an entrance last week. She got the squash match last week. Once again, if my memory serves correctly, I think it was Gray versus Marty Bell. If I'm not going crazy, I could be wrong, but I think
I don't
that's
think
what
it
we
was
got last week.
Gray. No, it wasn't Gray. It was I can't remember her name, but it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Was it
her.
Lady Frost? No.
Oh, maybe that sounds maybe right.
If it was Gray versus Lady Frost last week, then I actually think that Layla Gray didn't get an entrance.
I don't think she got.
She might have, but I remember Lady Frost's entrance in particular. And if that's the case, if Layla Gray is the one who went down to Lady Frost last week, once again, that means she got defeated. So now we're coming in this week. Layla Gray does get an entrance here. So once again, I was just happy to see her presented as an equal competitor. I was happy that we got that from her.
I think we should change the name of the show from Mark of Honor to Mark of Entrances, because we just want everyone to have an entrance.
Well, doesn't everyone deserve? Bro, if I like worked my ass off, got trained to be a wrestler, finally make it, I'll put on TV, and no, they're just kind of like, yeah, so we need you in the ring while you're
Entrances are important.
Entrances is what you fantasize about.
Of course, you're like, what would be your what would be your entrance music if you were a wrestler? Everybody could tell you their entrance music.
If you're playing pretend as a child doing your WrestleMania stuff, like, yeah, you and your friends are going to have the matches and pretend jump off the couch, top rope, yada, yada. But it all starts with you picking out the perfect song, you trying to see what pyro you can get in your living room. Like, entrances are huge.
Entrances are important. And they set the tone for the match too, because a lot of times when wrestlers come out, if they are having an entrance and people are hyped up, especially a song they know, or even just music in general, it gets them hyped. People get to see they're on display before they get down to the ring. And sometimes people will just enjoy entrance music, and that's what gets people extremely hype for a match. Because the entrance music is what gets you, and it gets them going. So if it gets the crowd going, it can get you going and build up your morale and want you to even put on an even better match for the fans. I love it.
And so like, once again, so we get a great match here back and forth. But once again, it's just to harp on that, like the fact that I did get to see Layla jaw jack with the fans as she's coming down.
Yeah.
You know? We got like that's another thing. It's not just that entrances present them to us a certain way, but it puts them on a platform so they can present themselves to us. We get to see personality. I mean, imagine, and we talk about it all the time, and I'll use this as a way to get into their match. But me and you always find ourselves gushing over Lance Archer and the Righteous, in particular, Righteous when it comes to their entrance. The snapping, and listen, I'll say this, the live crowd didn't seem to be as with it as last week's was. And how good it was last week really stood out because this week was kind of just meh. But once again, imagine if they just didn't get an entrance. The personality that we get from the Righteous doesn't happen on the microphone. For some reason, they don't give them to them. Yes, it happens in the ring, but really, it's the entrance, it's the victory, it's those moments between the matches that they really get to shine and let us know who they are.
Of course. I just don't. This is what we complain about. Like I said, we should just be the Mark of Entrances because that's what we want all the time. Like, come on.
Yeah. But no, but with this match, once again, like, this is a thing where I'm kind of wondering, I'm ready, and I don't know if I've said this already, but I'm ready to see what's next for Lance Archer and the Righteous. We talked about it.
100%.
Like we fantasy book all different stories for them. I kind of have one that I'm you know, I've got rolling around the old head basket that I think will be great.
I wish I was there so I could rub it, and then you could tell me what it is.
No, I would hit that hand. I would hit it. I would hit it so hard.
Tell me.
Okay. So we saw the final hype video for the Premier Athletes. We talked about it past couple of weeks. We saw one for Woods. We saw one for Tony Nese. Now we saw one for Aria Daivari, and we see Smart Mark Sterling talk about how the beginning of phase 2 kind of went well because it took 6 people to go ahead and diffuse our situation. You know, we saw last week the Babyface Brigade, Briscoe, Dalton Castle, Shoddy Lee was in there, Bounty Hunter was in there.
Right.
So, you know, all the Babyface came out to come out them. That only kind of advanced this week with, like I said, the backstage promo for them. So, like, they're talking about, you know, the best is yet to come. We are at our peak position, and you guys are in trouble. So I'm kind of thinking, all right, what's next for them now? And I'm running around a little bit here because follow me here.
I'm following.
Infantry versus the Outrunners went ahead and teased the match that we're getting next week for them. Right now, this is kind of like a feud that's been on and off, then on and off. They come at each other, then we forget about it, then they come at each other like a month later. So we're finally getting Infantry versus Outrunners. Infantry's very upset. They call Outrunners copycats. Outrunners say we're classic. We don't copy nobody. So we're finally getting them. What if the Premier Athletes mess this whole match up? Fuck both teams up. They knock out the Infantry. They knock out the Outrunners. 2 babyface teams left playing. Premier Athletes on top. 3 people standing strong, right? We don't need all 4 baby faces to come out and chase them off, right? We just need 3 baby faces to stand up. Yes, give me Lance Archer. Give me the Righteous. Let them come out and just snap their way to the stage. Let the fans feel like, oh shit, now it's going down.
I like
now,
it.
Granted, I don't know if I would necessarily do all of this next week. Maybe you have the Premier Athletes attack Outrunners and Infantry next week, and let that sit for like a week or 2, you know, let them actually stand tall to end the segment as opposed to what happened last week. But I would love to see you build up Premier Athletes as a disastrous trio, and then boom, you need a disastrous trio to take them out. Lance Archer and Righteous can step up to the plate, and at least we see where that goes. Give me that feud.
Ooh, I don't hate this.
Like that's, you know what it was also this week. I feel like there was a lot of attention put on the trios division as a whole.
A lot, and there was a lot of 6-man matches today. There was a lot of like 3 and 3, a lot of 3 and 3.
And we saw the backstage interview from last week with the now unified trios champions of the Bang Bang Gang, Bullet Club Gold.
When the Outrunners and Infantry were doing their backstage segment, and they're like, "What else are they gonna steal?" Trish Dora. I was like, "Why don't you let her talk?" And then maybe
yo, legit. Like I at this point, I'm desperate to read that she's had like, is laryngitis when you lose your voice or something like that?
Laryngitis. Like, she's just
somebody tell me. Like, I hope she's fine, but at this point, I'm waiting to hear that she got like bronchitis or something.
Like, he's like, she's gonna steal Trish Dora, and I was like, maybe they let her. We're
just getting like surprise face from her. Yo, like legit. Yeah. I hate that we're now reaching the point that I'm just happy to see her with them.
Right.
Like when it's like, bro, I don't understand. Like it
let
makes
her talk.
No sense. Like, how do you ever? How does the idea to pair them all together come, but the idea to let her speak just never comes up in these creative meetings? I don't understand.
Right, like she could walk in front of them and tell off the Outrunners, like, and be like, "No, you're not messing with the Infantry. We're here. We're this." Blah blah blah. She's like their hype woman.
Like, listen, having a woman in your corner is a big get. Like that's like. And almost
Zelina
every other trio,
fucking Alexa Bliss, like there tons.
And listen,
Lana at one point, Lana with Rusev, like having the woman is very significant a lot of times.
I mean, listen, I love all the ones you put out, but let's go for the biggest one that's been relevant in the past however long. How about Mommy? the X Factor in Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, Judgment Day would be nothing without Rhea Ripley. Dom would be nothing without Rhea. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I don't get. They're just not. And clearly they have plans for the infantry. Clearly they like these guys. They've been trying to get Shawn Dean over or get something with him that works for a while. Love Bad News and Tattoos. Every week I'm gushing on him, and they seemingly love him also. So infantry are clearly like circled in terms of need to do things with these guys. You made an excellent decision to make it a trio. Throw Trish Adora in there. You can have them feud with another duo that has a woman in their corner. You could it writes itself. Speaking of which, let's and we're kind of going around, but Carter and Garrison, we saw
around.
Carter and Garrison.
We're just following. We're following ROH's lead.
Well, no, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. But Carter and Garrison could feud with the entry in a second. Maria 100%. And Trish Adora. Like, you know what I mean? I'm curious to see what's happening with Carter and Garrison, though, because we see a promo with them. Maria's not in the shot. And they're talking about their losses. They're talking about how they've been actually getting, and it's rare. You don't really hear heel tag teams talk the way they were talking, where they were like, listen, we've been getting great opportunities. We just haven't been rising to the challenges. You know, you had a match last week. Title was on the line. You didn't win. I had a match with Christopher Daniels, legend. Could have proved myself. I didn't win. So, like, we're not stepping up. And then Maria steps into frame, you know, really taking charge of the situation and kind of alluding that, and you know, it only makes sense in a wrestling world, but apparently somehow the defeats that they just spent TV time harping on are the inspiration, the motivation necessary for them to be challenging for the tag team championships. So only in wrestling does that make sense. But the biggest takeaway is Maria does seem to be steering them towards their next goals, which are the tag team championships. Tag team champions are Mike Bennett, her husband, and Matt Taven. So, like, they've kind of been separating Maria and her husband for a while now, but now she's steering her hired guns towards them. I wonder, does this lead to Maria leaving her lovable losers behind and maybe take her rightful place with the Undisputed Kingdom?
That'd be awesome. I don't know. This also, by the way, I'm just curious. I don't know what they're trying. Every time we try to put something in our brains to put out into the universe and manifest it, it never works. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know, Brady.
Right.
I just don't know.
What were you going to say, though, by the way, something?
I found this. Okay, so I found this weird, and correct me if I'm wrong. After this match, the announcer said, and still...
Yes,
I
noticed that too.
And I was like, but isn't this proving ground? So they would have been champions anyway, because it wasn't for the championship.
Yeah, it's so funny. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to say that, but I noticed that very much so, because, like, yes, this was a proving ground match. So even if the Outrunners got the pinfall, even if they lasted 10 minutes, all that was going to get them was a tag team title shot in the future.
Right.
So it was surprising, because I do believe typically you would just say, and the winners, your tag team champion.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, I was like, is that wrong?
No.
I was a little confused.
She announced them as still, and then even granted, it was just kind of the tag team champion celebrating, but the way that Taven ran out, got the belts, and was kind of holding him over his head as if they did just. Weird. I mean, it almost makes you wonder. Maybe in the arena the titles were on the line, and then like in post they're like, you know what, this probably should just be a proving ground match. Let's just make it a proving ground match. How many minutes did it go? Oh, 8 minutes. Okay, yeah, proving ground. I don't actually think that's what happened, but you know, I always got my tinfoil hat not too far away. I can always throw it on.
I don't hate it. I like when you make up stuff sometimes.
I'm glad you enjoy it because I do it regularly. But yeah, I did enjoy this proving ground match with the Outrunners getting some face time with the tag team champions. I also enjoyed the fact that immediately they pivot to and away from the title feud with the infantry that had kind of been left on the kitchen counter for the time being. Because listen, and another thing I like is that while this was a proving ground match, the Outrunners lost, Undisputed Kingdom did have to cheat. There was the reaching of the tights, and they even had the referee kind of make an extra big deal about it afterwards. So it's one of those things where like proving ground kind of lets me know off the bat that they don't consider you to be in the League of the Tag Champs. So it's kind of like, I'm glad that they did at the cheat, because then it's kind of, I don't think the Outrunners actually lose as much as you could have lost.
Right, 100%.
100%.
Because it's interesting how, like, in AEW, you'll mostly see like eliminator matches where it won't be proving ground. You'll give somebody a non-title shot against the champion, and no 10-minute stipulation or whatever. If you win, you get a title shot. That's the eliminator match the AEW does. With ROH doing the proving ground, where you kind of, all you really got to do is last the 10 minutes. It's kind of almost like they're giving you a handicap. So sometimes it is good for us to see the champions cheat to win a proving ground match.
100%.
Just so it's,
Can I just say, I know the infantry is probably next in line to get the tag championships. I'm totally okay the Outrunners getting it. I love the Outrunners. I think they're a fresh but nostalgic team. Does that make sense? Like, they're so fresh. Their gimmick is so fun, but it just has the perfect amount of nostalgic. They're named like Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Like, I don't know. There's just something about these guys. Like, I'm totally for them and would love to see them be tag champions. I'm totally behind them. I love the infantry, but I don't know, the Outrunners. They just got it.
The Outrunners are another team that would benefit from getting more time to showcase. We see them in the ring. We see them get the entrance, but let's get some mic time. That's another team that I think would benefit from getting a third person involved, maybe a female. I don't know off the top of my head which ROH female would gel the best, because you don't want it to be a reach. And you don't want to take a woman who has nothing in common with the Outrunners, just throw her in some bright spandex and you know what I mean? You don't want to change somebody to make it work. But I could see them vibing properly with a third.
What was Blue Pants' name after she wasn't Blue Pants anymore?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
She would be a good person to put with him.
I have not. Let's see. Blue Pants.
I feel bad. I can't remember her name.
Leva Bates, of course.
Leva Bates. That's it. I'm awful. I'm a terrible person. Everybody's probably screaming at me right now listening to this. They're probably screaming to Leva Bates. Yeah, Leva Bates. I think Leva Bates would be a good one. I mean, I know she's not on here.
Absolutely.
But she's the first person that popped in my head, because I was thinking of that 80s gimmick thing and how she does all those fun gimmicks.
Emma's gimmick from NXT, where she was doing that weird dance and the glasses. I almost feel like that could ish work.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Man, I forgot about that. Man.
So long ago.
Good. I know. It's so long ago. But I'm looking forward to see. I have to say, ROH, their tag division is very good. Their tag, I like all their tag teams. That's really
what I like.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying there's not really anybody that when they come on the screen, I'm like, ugh, I have to watch this boring. Well, I mean, there's one, but he hasn't been on. But I'm just like, ugh. Oh yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I don't hate him with Coulter, right? Coulter? Is that his last name? Cutler. I was thinking of oh man, the Bears quarterback. Anyway, but I don't hate them together. I just don't like Colt Cabana. If he was doing a singles match, I wouldn't be excited. But other than
that's a good thing about Ring of Honor, or the way they're doing it. And it's just smart when you've got, whether it's an hour and a half, however long they make these episodes, you are trying to showcase as many talents as you can. So it just makes sense to get stables, to get tag teams, to pair a guy with a girl and have them come out together. It just give everyone time to shine.
Definitely.
And speaking of teams, we saw the Minion Empowerment meeting backstage where Athena, the forever champion this week, she did pass 500 days as champion. And our new Ring of Honor Women's TV champion, they called out Red Velvet, even though Athena called it Blue Velvet.
When she called her Blue Velvet, I was dying laughing. I was like, this just shows she doesn't give a F about her. By the way, did Billy Starks looks weird? She has blonde hair now, right? Like she got rid of the purple?
She did
or
look
was it just straight?
Different. I feel like it was weird. Like there was changes made. Like I kind of like was wondering if like we're seeing changing, like a slow changing in her appearance now that she has kind of gone a little bit more to the dark side than she was prior to winning the championship.
Right. I don't know. So
you know what it is? I think her hair is just shorter. Like it's like
really?
She had the
it looks
hair like
so
just
blonde to me.
I mean, I'm looking at it now. There's a little more blonde, I guess, but I still see like the purple highlights. It's really just, it looks like she got a cut. And now she kind of just has it. I don't know the name of women's hairstyles, but like it's just
like mine?
Flat, straight down. Pretty much exactly what you have, except different colors. Yeah.
Different color.
But like she's wearing it the way you're wearing yours now.
Right. Where I always wear it straight.
And you know what it was? She was kind of just wearing like a dress too. I think normally, like even for a backstage segment, they'll kind of just throw her in her ring gear. And we kind of always see her ready to compete. This is the first time I'm actually it kind of just looks like she's being her. She's got her dress on. She's got her belt on.
She looked more adult, like she's growing up. Not that she's, I mean, she is younger, like youngest.
No, they do. And they do present her as
childlike.
A younger. They do kind of present her as not even, I don't want to say a child, but she is presented as a student.
Right.
No, but she's presented as a student. So like even if we're talking like she's the college student, while Athena's always been the college professor. She had to graduate, the academy and all that kind of stuff. So you're right. Now that she's champion, now that she's making her own bad decisions or good decisions, however you look at it, maybe this is what we're seeing. We're seeing growth, we're seeing evolution, we're seeing her become the wrestler, the champion she was destined to be.
Yeah. All this was pretty fantastic. This backstage minion stuff is amazing.
And we got two segments out of it because we also got to get the response from Red Velvet and Queen Aminata. And that's another team that can easily be a force if we see them regularly. I don't know if this sticks around. I mean, I think it has legs because we could have them trade partners at one point where right now Red Velvet's after the TV championship. Actually, wait a minute. I mean, I guess really these are both competitors that were in the TV title tournament. So really, we don't know who's going to come after Athena in this. Red Velvet.
Very interesting how I felt after the attack on Red Velvet and then Queen Aminata came. It kind of made me feel like Queen Aminata is going after Athena and she's going after that title.
Which I thought reversed, but only because we saw Red Velvet. Well, only because Red Velvet and Athena were facing each other. So it's like Red Velvet was Athena's direct competition. Billy coming out to just attack Red Velvet was what brought out Queen. So that was where I'm kind of like, Queen still after her TV title. Red Velvet's going to go after Athena. But at the same time, you could switch this whenever we want. Queen Aminata can go for Athena. Red Velvet can go for Billy. So we could see these teams facing off for the next month or two, and I'm really okay with it.
They're probably just going to have them be tagged for now and just have them have tag matches. That's what I think they're going to do.
I mean, it's also interesting that we're seeing this switch now because Athena's mainly, she put Ring of Honor on her back and she's mainly, been seen on Ring of Honor to the point where Twitter really made a big deal when she was added to AEW Battle of the Belts. So like, oh my God, Athena's finally on AEW again? What? And so it is kind of one of those things where I'm glad they're getting her on AEW TV more because 500 days as champion, that is a big deal. And, so it's like, yes, give her as much time as possible. If more people are watching AEW, which is obvious, then yes, we need as many people to know about the great work she's been doing down here in Ring of Honor with the amazing women she's been working with.
All these women are so good. Queen Aminata, man. I do love Red Velvet too, but Queen Aminata, love her. I want her to be champion.
Another storytelling innovation we got or advancement we got. We saw Johnny TV in action. Of course, his lovely wife, Taya, was by his side as he put down Will Austin. Later, we saw Taya, and her lovely husband was by her side, and she put down Laney Luck. For the record, love that.
Yeah.
Love that just because we say it all the time, and like last week I even gave a pass where it's like, okay, Trish Adora didn't come out with the infantry because she had her own match. But you know what? It really makes the most sense to have them both come out with each other. So if Johnny has a match, yes, have Taya come out with him. When Taya's got her match, of course, he will come back out with her. That's the way it should be. Give them as much shine as possible. These are, of course, the most TV-ready people you've got on your roster. You gotta put them together. And, you know, the re-ab has been going great for Johnny TV. Those abs were shining.
You didn't hear me last week? I said re-ab. Except when they started talking about her hair and they said, it's mac and cheese. Remember that crayon color? I was like, oh no, what's happening? I was like, commentary, you do so well, but then you fall so hard.
If it's the commentary team is all men, they should just avoid talking about women's hair. Just unless you really know, unless you know that hair, like you know exactly the color she asked her stylist to make. But what I did love the most about this, we've been saying great things in the past about this guy, somebody named Aaron Solo.
Yeah,
we see him regularly. And we saw him pop up in a backstage segment with Johnny TV, with TV herself, Taya Valkyrie. And I love where this could potentially be going. Like Aaron Solo basically talking about, listen, for the record, Danielle, did you know what they were talking about with the whole Johnny Loves Taya TV show? Because I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah. I knew it was a thing because to be honest, I forgot about it, but I remember Dolan Castle and him talking about it at one point, and then saying
I remember that too, but I never actually knew that it was actually because ROH doesn't show like clips of it or anything like that.
Yeah,
so I
not
just
like
didn't
Divas
really...
that was on constantly.
It's on YouTube. Like I think AEW posted like them all yesterday or something like that. I'll probably watch it later when I have the time. But when they first started talking about it, I was like, oh man. But I loved Aaron Solo coming out of nowhere and Johnny TV being like, you didn't even tweet us. Yes, I did. I'm the king of retweets. I retweet you all the time. And then Taya actually saying, listen, I moderate our account. Yes, he's been retweeting us frequently. So now it's like, wait a minute, maybe. And we thought maybe we'd get something like this with the boys, with Johnny TV and Taya wanting to take someone and make them TV ready. We obviously didn't get to see that, but maybe now we're seeing it with Aaron Solo. Aaron Solo's been taking advantage of the small minutes he gets. This could lead to him getting more minutes. This could lead to more advancement, more evolution in who Aaron Solo is. Hey, when he said, listen, Taya, just so you know, before Johnny loved Taya, Johnny loved Solo, I died. And then Johnny coming out and being like, Johnny never loved Solo. He did. He never loved Solo. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, you guys are making me laugh with 30 seconds of time together. I want to see more.
Todd did very bad.
And listen, you know what also I'm thinking we might get out of this? Maybe Aaron Solo gets a win?
Yeah.
Did this happen? I mean, Aaron Solo is a guy who hasn't really been getting entrances. Like he's always he's a regular staple of Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
I've loved Aaron. I've liked Aaron Solo. I mean, I always remembered him like he was with NXT developmental for a long time ago. I don't think they ever really put him on TV, but I would always see clips of him online and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he was like dating Bailey at the time, so like he would get retweeted more often.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he dated. They were engaged.
Yeah,
you know?
and then
oh man, I forgot about that.
Then when he came over to AEW, I was kind of like, okay, I'm glad, Cody's got his eye on him. He was in the Nightmare Factory. So I'm like, all right. It seems like now it's like 5-6 years later type of shit. So listen, I love that they're doing something with Aaron Solo and they're taking a good TV ready act like, Mr. and Mrs. TV and giving them the child that they didn't get to have with the boys.
Yeah, because they got the boys eaten by bears.
Maybe Johnny and Taya will both love Solo before this is over.
Like a love triangle?
No, like a son. Like they're gonna take him out for catch.
I was like, we're doing a love triangle.
She's gonna take him shopping. Get him like some pre-match gear. He's gonna go have a crash. Maybe they'll go mountain climbing, and Johnny won't ditch them on the mountains with bears.
Oh man, I thought you were talking about throuple status. I was like, what?
That's because your head's always in the gutter, Danielle. Always in the gutter.
It's love. Thruples love each other. Yeah, it's about love, not lust. You perv.
Well, listen, I love some jobbers who are able to get some attention put on themselves.
Yeah.
Jobbers who are able to maximize their moments. Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. By the way, Prince Nana not with them, and I don't think they were referred to as the Mogul Embassy. There were comments alluding to that they're still all together. Right. But I am kind of curious because Prince Nana and Swerve kind of made the babyface turn a while ago as he prepared to become AEW champion. We never really saw the follow through for the rest of the stable. Cage, Gates of Agony, they're still kind of presented as badass heels. And so I'm wondering if maybe we're going to watch them get spaced away from who was their fearless leader and fearless manager in Swerve and Prince Nana, because they're now champions of AEW. I'm just not sure. I hope not, because I think Nana really benefited everyone who he was able to work with. So I'd love to see them continue.
But regardless, we did see. I think you think too hard about this stuff sometimes, because I feel like ROH is such an afterthought to Tony that like he didn't think, oh yeah, I should probably have Prince Nana come out, and you know what I mean.
I get it, but here's the thing: it's not even that Nana wasn't with them. Like I said, the main thing that got my attention was that they weren't referred to as the Mogul Embassy.
Fair.
They were referred to as Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. I haven't heard the Gates of Agony name since they became the Mogul Embassy. So like that's why, and listen, maybe I've just been missing certain things, but that's why I'm kind of like, wait a minute, So it's something I've got my eyes on. We'll see the next time we see this trio. Do they refer to them as the Mogul Embassy? Do we get Nana back? Do we ever get something like that? So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. But they did defeat the team of Manders and Beef Tank, which is Beef and Calvin Tankman.
Beef Tank.
And listen, Beef was very over. Live crowd was chanting.
Oh, yeah.
Beef got very little offense in. Beef was getting pounded. Like they were pounding Beef the entire time.
They were pounding the Beef.
But the crowd was chanting for Beef. Like they were really trying to give him that comeback momentum. But for me, the star of this match was Mr. Calvin Tankman. Listen, this guy really took control, and the crowd got behind him quick.
Yeah.
He is a bigger guy, so he was able to kind of give Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, a little, what am I looking for? Something for their money.
Run for their money.
Run for their money. What is wrong with me? But yeah,
run for their money.
But for me, like when he came in, it almost seemed like we were getting a hot tag, and the crowd really got behind it. He got some momentum in there, got some spots. He caught my attention very quick.
I love a good hot tag. A hot beef tag. Ha 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 ha.
But I mean, listen, I hope we see more of Beef. I hope we see more of Calvin Tankman.
Yeah. A lot of times these quote unquote jobbers, I really like them and I want to see more of them. There's never this person that I'm like, oh God, thank God. I'm like, oh, thank God this is over.
I want to see more of John Cruz. John Cruz is like one of my favorite jobbers.
Yes. Write that down. John Cruz. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was a fun. I like this match too. And usually these matches with all these big men, I don't like. I'm not usually a fan of this like big, like slappy, big, sweaty, meaty men. But
you don't like big meat slapping meat.
I knew you were gonna say yes. I don't always like it, but this match I liked. And I don't usually like Brian Cage either. Like I'm not a huge fan of him.
Interesting.
But I like this match, yeah. I think it was more so because of Beef and Tank and Manders. I think that's why I enjoyed this match. And because the crowd was really into it. And when the crowd's into it, like, you kind of get behind it too.
100%. Like that's how it works. And it's when you're not given an entrance, and when commentary doesn't know everything about you or really even have the motivation to be gushing about you the entire time, when you've only got 2-3 minutes to make the other 3 men on the other side of the ring look great, not yourself look great. Your job is to make that look as good as possible. It's not the easiest thing in the world to develop an organic connection with those with that audience that did not know who you were prior. Right. And so, I mean, listen, maybe they did, Calvin Tankman, he's been around, but either way, I was just really impressed by all three of these guys getting some shine on in a position where it's not necessarily your job to get shine on yourself, but they did a great job. I enjoyed that. Also, great job to the main event. Beast Mortos is really on a roll. As we are seeing this repackaging of him.
So funny. When I see Beef Mortos, I'm like, oh yeah, jobber. Like he's gonna lose. I'm like, he's there to put people over, but he's constantly winning. Yeah, I know. But when I see him,
ever since they changed his name and like they give him this repackage, they've been really establishing him as like a beast to be feared. And while I would love to see AR Fox get some goddamn W's, I feel like I'm always watching him take L after L after L.
You know what he
Blake
needs?
Christian, he goes back and forth. AR Fox, he needs Prince Nana. That's what he needs.
No, you know who AR Fox needs?
His wife.
No.
And a Skulk.
He needs a Skulk.
The Skulk was the best.
I want them back.
Listen, his wife, Ayla Fox, brought a lot to that also, though. Like that was an entire package where it was his wife and the Skulk. Like that stable, one of the most underrated stables in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. Her shoe game was always on point. I always look forward to seeing what shoes she was going to come out wearing. I loved her.
The craziest thing about it is that stuff was like 6 years ago now. Like I feel like Evolve was a while ago, right? Like
2018, I feel. Right? When's the last time we went to an Evolve
6 years
show?
ago. Yeah, that's 6 years ago.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, 2019 might have been the last one.
And it's like since then, one member of the Skulk, Leon Ruff, had a decent run in NXT, got him a singles championship. We've seen the other members of the Skulk on AEW TV, on NXT, WWE, like they bounce around. They're in the system. AEW and Ring of Honor work with them. So it's like, I just don't really know who's not aware of the Skulk backstage that can kind of say, hey guys, you realize like we can have a nice stable for these guys, right? And like, like they're here. Like we can use them.
Oh, their stable was so
it's going to set him apart, put him to the next level. I do think eventually they'll do it. I think Tony's still honestly butthurt about that whole AR Fox Wembley situation.
Probably. But the Skulk, when they first came out, I was like, God, these guys are so annoying. And by the second,
and you hated them,
just the second time, I was like, oh no. I was like, these guys are amazing. They put over everything. They get the crowd so hype. Like even if even when AR Fox was heel, like you were screaming at them because they were screaming at you, and you loved every minute of it because they were so good at their job. Ugh.
One of the best ones, and I think it was the show we went to where I had the fucking crutch leg thing. Like, you remember that show? Yes. I think that was the one. It was where we got like it was basically a Skulk showcase where they all faced each other. And I think AR Fox was actually he was on the side, and it was like his 4 students all facing each other.
Yeah.
And they fucking all showed up, all showed out. It didn't matter who won because they all raised each other's hand afterward. It was kind of just like 20 minutes of saying, these are my kids. This is my crew. This is the Skulk. And this is what we do. And that was like the beginning of me being like, wow, this stable's really it. Like these guys can all go. They're not just like good people to add to him, Like, no, like these guys can go. These guys can be a force. And once again, we're talking like 6 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
So
it's
I'm
insane.
starting to get frustrated with the fact that like, are we the only people that see this shit?
Probably. I will say we can add another person to our punchable face calendar, Blake Christian.
Oh,
I love Blake Christian.
Blake Christian's always.
I literally want to punch him in the face all the time, and I love him. I think he's great. I love him as a heel.
No, he's fantastic.
He's so good. His dastardly things he does to win as a heel are my favorite things. His cheating is like because he does it in a way where everyone boos. You're like, no, don't do that. Like he does. It's not even like fun cheating. It's cheating that makes you get mad. And I love every minute of it because you just soak it in because he's so good at being a heel.
Blake Christian can be whatever you want him to be because his ring style does lend itself more to that baby face, but he's got that little extra where he can always he doesn't have to change his ring style too much. He can still do certain things, but he just adds a little extra to still make you hate him while he does it.
To
still get heat.
He'll be doing like technical shit in the ring, and you're like, wow, this guy's really good. Like he's gonna win because of this. And then he'll poke his opponent in the eye, and you're like, this fuck. And he didn't even need to poke him. You know what I mean? He didn't even need to poke him in the eye because he was already winning, but he just does it anyway.
He'll set up for the dive, and then he won't dive, and instead he'll just flip off the fans, and you're just kind of like, you son of a bitch.
So good. I think in GCW he cashed in on what's her face? Oh my god, what's her name?
I don't know.
Oh my god, what's her name that was GCW champion? Why am I going blank? Oh my god, people are screaming at me on the viewing this. What's her name? Masha. I was like, what the fuck is
Wasn't Masha? I was thinking of guessing Masha, but I didn't have any idea what you were talking about.
He cashed in on her, or whatever it's called. And people were so mad. I loved every bit of it. He's so good at being
classic heel behavior.
He's so good with his punchable face. His punchable face that's so good at wrestling.
Big time punchable face. Beast Mordos, like I said, continues his winning streak, continues him now revitalizing his career. I'm curious what they do though, because I mentioned it earlier. Like we saw for like almost a month and a half, Commander main event shows with wins, and you're kind of like, where's it going to take him? Where's it going to take him? And this week it took him to losing the opener. So does Beast Mortos get some storytelling? Does Beast Mortos get a feud? Does Beast Mortos get enough wins where he's challenging a champion? Do we see this get us something? Because I'm starting to become cognizant of how many main events don't actually mean what they should.
Right. Right.
This main event was so weird too because you had the tag champions. Why wouldn't you, even though it wasn't for the belt, why wouldn't you have them close the show? It was very weird.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind that only because I did mention last week that having proving ground matches main event aren't the best decision because they're very good at telling us the exact time the show's gonna end. So I actually put that in my pro column tonight, where when I realized they were having a proving ground match that wasn't main event, I was like, okay, this is smarter. This is good. Because it allowed me to suspend disbelief and wonder, are the Outrunners actually going to do this? As they got to like 8 minutes or however long, you know?
Yeah, you did say that.
You did say that.
I did.
Yeah. So I mean,
but you could have. They could have given they could have given the main event spot to Andrade, Top Flight, and Dark Order. Could have done that. These are all teams and wrestlers that are on AEW and Ring of Honor regularly. These are the trios division did get a lot of hype tonight, so they could have done that.
I wish Kyle Fletcher was on the show, and Ethan Page, and Mark.
Yeah,
Briscoe.
I mean Kyle Fletcher had to fight the AEW World Champion just 2 nights. Oh no, yesterday. So we give him the pass. We give him the pass this week.
Fine. But yeah,
guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying, like, they're putting in a lot more matches now, ROH. And and they're showcasing
and we're seeing a lot of matches tonight.
Some fresh faces, which are semi-consistent, and maybe this will lead to more storylines. That's what I'm hoping. We'll have to wait.
We had 13 matches tonight.
Yeah.
13 matches in, I believe, 98 minutes. That's pretty crazy. They also had plenty of backstage segments. We got stories advanced. I would say I was very pleased with what Ring of Honor did with the time.
Yep.
Tonight. And yeah, hopefully they improve. Hopefully we continue to see more stories told, more advancements. There are a few cliffhangers that got us waiting on next week. So like there's a few things where I'm tuning in next week in particular to see a few things advance. That's not always the case with Ring of Honor. So these are good things. Hopefully they're getting better. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, do not forget, we are the Heel Marks. You can follow us everywhere at the Heel Marks. Big shouts to the BodySlam.net pod network, all of them. Don't forget to go to slamchats.com, make your donations felt and heard, support the network. Guys, we will see you next time. Never forget, we're not just smart marks, we're heel marks.